Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Swami Vivekananda. Warm good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to the AICTE-ATAL sponsored 5-day workshop on Internet of Things. It's conducted by Sri Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya College of Arts and Science. Let's begin today's program with prayer song.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Yes, at the outset, we should think that in the digital era, it is very essential to update our knowledge according to the changing needs and demands of the present time. So on that ground, we organize this workshop on Internet of Things. We shall begin the program with welcome address. I request Dr. R. Tangavel Anna, Principal of Sri Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya College of Arts and Science, to deliver welcome address. Welcome, Yuna.
Good morning to one and all. On behalf of the institution and my own behalf, I am going to introduce first a brief about our institution. The Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya College of Arts and Science is one of the institutions among 18 institutions covered under Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya Coimbatore Center. The Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya was established in the year 1930 by the renowned freedom fighter and the former Education Minister of Tamil Nadu, T.S. Avinashilingam Ayya, in the year 1930. The foundation stone was laid by our national father, Mahatma Ji, in the year 1934. The institution was later affiliated to the Ramakrishna Mission and Mad Belur headquarters, which was founded by the spiritual leader of our country, Swami Vivekananda, under the name of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who was the yogi of this century, who guide us in the spiritual era. Now the institution is, the Coimbatore Center has 18 institutions. The Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya College of Arts and Science is one of the institutions, which was started in the year 1964, having 13 UG departments and 7 PG departments and 11 research programs around the strength of, with the strength of 33,000 students. So, with this a brief introduction, then this institution was run by the Ramakrishna Mission and Mad and guided by our Swamijis in the Ramakrishna Order. Today, our College of Arts and Science organized AICTE-ATAL sponsored 5-day workshop with the sponsorship of AICTE and ATAL and the topic Internet of Things. We are a special situation. Now the entire world is under the grip of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now only all are realizing the essential of the internet and the related things. Now, we can see in each and every corner of the world, we find the application of internet is now gaining its momentum. One can say that without the internet, that today the life come to the frozen state. So on taking into account, our college and AICTE organizing this wonderful workshop, the Internet of Things, which is going to benefit you all as well as the entire teaching community and other peoples who are in the software field. With this, I, on behalf of the institution and my own behalf, I welcome you one and all for this wonderful workshop, and please take this opportunity, gain the knowledge in the field of Internet of Things and other things, and make this is one of the useful workshop to build up your career, as well as making it to its presence, its application to the society as well as the entire world for the upliftment of the human society. Thank you. Welcome you one and all for this wonderful section. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for your welcome address. Swami Vivekananda says, education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. So, with the aim of evoking such the perfection within every individual, our Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya College of Arts and Science is organizing this 5-day workshop. Now, I request the most respected Swami Nirmaleshanandaji Maharaj, Secretary of Sri Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya College of Arts and Science, to deliver inaugural address. I welcome you, Maharaj.
Apakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namah. Good morning to one and all. About the institutions, Dr. Tangavelana, Principal of College of Arts and Science, gave a brief introduction. And about this workshop, brief given, it will be given by Dr. C.R. Shaktivel, Head of the Department of Computer Science. Though I am unable to meet you all in person in this vast campus, I am happy to meet you all in this session through online. You all know, starting from the prehistoric period of invention of wheel to the latest artificial intelligence technology, all inventions have been made in order to tackle one fundamental problem in life. And that problem is a limitation of body and senses, a limitation of mind. Technology is able to help us to overcome the limitation of the mind, limitation of the body and senses. Religion helps us to overcome the limitation of the mind, limitation of our intellect. Truly speaking, technology is a double-edged sword. You can say it is a double-edged sword. It can save us, at the same time, it can destroy us. It depends upon how we utilize the technology. The question that matters here is, what is the motive behind the invention and the usage of particular technology? The discovery of radioactive elements and further technological invention of harnessing the nuclear energy helped in the field of energy conservation. But it also created a havoc in the form of nuclear bombs. Ultimately, we have to land on the moral platform for a suitable answer to this question. Many things have been invented since the invention of Internet of Things. Just go back 10, 15 years back, or one had to be near the device to operate it. That is, you have to go physically, but now one can control and monitor his home appliances, vehicles, and daily utility of electronic gadgets remotely. This has been possible because of development in the field of IoT. The development in this field is not only to make our life more comfortable and daily activities more easy, but it has also enhanced the life of persons with various disabilities to enable independent living. To state a few, for example, the wristbands and a finger rings that can guide visually impaired person and also track his location is now replacing the traditional way of using a stick. That is an old method. The text-to-speech converter, helps person with hearing impairment to manage their daily activities quite easily. Applications like voice checklist or voice assistants have found wide use in task management, such as managing control procedures or financial operations. Interaction with an AI powered, artificial intelligence powered app is affected by audio commands rather than hands. So the input of data is carried out by voice, making work environment disability friendly. Artificial intelligence based voice assistant can also operate in a reverse mode. Today, employees who have physical difficulties with speaking can still bring out their professional skills in the workplace, staying on par with the rest of the employees. Google has introduced Project Understood, which is aimed to train Google Assistants to understand individuals who have Down syndrome. With artificial intelligence-based voice assistant, users can input a message in text format so that voice-powered app transfer it to a voice command or directly execute a given instructions. As a result, people with speaking impairment can work in office, sitting in their place, stationary, without feeling disadvantaged. Disabilities can often restrict access to many work industries as well as professional positions. As a result, people who have certain impairments cannot always prove their professional competence in the work environment. However, with the rapid advance in technology or rapid advance of new technologies such as artificial intelligence, extreme technology, XR, the gap between employees belonging to the wider population and those with some kind of impairments can be significantly narrowed down due to the appearance of offices with a disability-friendly work environment. Innovative applications such as remote experts, voice assistants, and digital twins can help people with disabilities reach work equity and allow them to be self-confident and self-sufficient. Swami Vivekananda says, as long as millions live in hunger and ignorance, I hold every person a traitor who have been educated at their expense, pays not the least heed to them. The most noble application of technology is that which helps the society to sustain and develop. With these few words, I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi, and Swami Vivekananda make this 5-day workshop a successful one. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. Swamiji has explained the importance of technology and necessity of technology in the real time, particularly the artificial intelligence and how technology helps in the helping of the impaired people with such impairments. Now, I request Dr. C.R. Saktivel Anna to introduce today's chief guest to give brief note on the workshop. We request you, sir.
So it is my pleasure in welcoming you all again for this 5-day workshop on Internet of Things. First of all, Internet of Things describes the network of physical objects, that is things, that are embedded with the sensor, softwares and other technologies for the purpose of connecting and exchanging data with other devices and systems over the Internet. The definition of the Internet of Things has evolved due to the convergence of multiple technologies. It is not tied up with a single technology. It consists of real-time analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, commodity sensors, and embedded system. Traditional fields of embedded system, wireless sensor networks, control system, automation, and others all contribute to enable the Internet of Things. Industry can achieve a new automation layer and with it can create new revenue and business models. Industry IoT is sometimes called the fourth way of industrial revolution or Industry 4.0. The following are some of the common uses for industries. Some of them are smart manufacturing, preventive and predictive maintenance, smart power grids, smart cities, and connected and smart logistics. So with this few words, I once again welcome you all for this 5-day workshop on Internet of Things. Now, I request Mr. Nandakumar to say few words about Mr. Kishore Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Let me take the privilege of introducing today's resource person, Mr. Kishore Kumar, sir, who is software engineer at EC Design System. Kishore Kumar, sir, having a professional experience of 3 years in developing IoT-based applications. He is proficient in developing new lessons and activities to expand learning opportunities on Internet of Things. He had great practical knowledge to work with Arduino and Raspberry Pi, and he had gone through integration and data visualization, and he has expertise in these areas. Then he has successfully conducted seminars on Internet of Things for around 500 students and also organized workshop for about 1,000 students. And he is also a visiting professor at Coimbatore Institute of Technology from 2018 to 2019. Now, with these few words, I request you, Mr. Kishore Kumar, sir, to take over the session. Please, sir.
So, it's a nice word from Shaktivel, sir. Good morning to one and all gathered here. So myself, Kishore. So, I am working as a software developer in EC Design System Private Limited. So, I'm going to handle session on Raspberry Pi. So, instead of my CEO Padmanabhan sir, so he couldn't able to join the session on due to unavoidable situation. So I'm going on his behalf. I'm going to handle the session for you. So shall we start? So I'm going to handle Raspberry Pi. So what is Raspberry Pi? So what is the use of Raspberry Pi? So all those steps are going to handle myself. So for the past 3 years, I'm being part in IoT domain from scratch itself, from my start of my career. So it is a new domain. So IoT is new to everyone. So everything is connected to internet. Mainly, each and everything has been connected to internet. So due to increase in civilization, so there is more and more sensors, more and more things has been handled by each and every person. So human to human connection has been eradicated, and machine to machine communication has been started. So that's how IoT, AI, and all the stuff has been exploring itself. So each for human being itself, there is many senses like taste, smell, so hearing, all the stuff. So all the stuff has been handled by all the works has been handled by our brain itself. So it is the main part. Likewise, there are many number of sensors in the world. So each sensor has to be handled by one key person. So that key person is a controller. So there are n number of controllers like Arduino, Raspberry Pi, BeagleBone, all the stuff has been integrated with sensors. So here I'm going to explore how Raspberry Pi has been used and how it can be able to interface with sensors, how the communication has been done, then how the activators has been worked, how Raspberry Pi has been set up. So these are the steps I'm going to handle today. So I am grateful to share my thoughts. So I am also new. So each person has to learn many new things. So if I am wrong or anything's wrong, please send me a message or any other things. Okay. So shall we start? So Raspberry Pi. So why Raspberry Pi? So Raspberry Pi is nothing but it is a low cost credit card size computer set. So instead of CPU, you can use this Raspberry Pi as a CPU. It's like a credit card size computer. So all the stuffs in which we can done in a computer like desktop browsing. So all the stuffs playing high definition videos, spreadsheets, word processing, and also coding stuff. So you need to make a word on it, writing a document, fetching a code, making photos and videos, the personal stuff. So all the stuff has been handled by Raspberry itself. So it's like a mini computer. So it's a key feature. It's one of a microcontroller. So it acts as a brain. So mainly we going for Raspberry Pi is we doesn't need any other things like for example, if you take Arduino or any other chips kind of stuff, we need a separate IDE for that. We need a separate what components which is need to connect. We need to write a code for each and the stuff. So every separate things has been needed. So to run it on something, some way, so all the stuff has been needed. But Raspberry Pi is like an independent system. So wherever you can need this, you just plug and play. Like you directly plug the monitor, plug it to a monitor. So we can join keyboard and mouse. So it is easy to handle all the stuff in Raspberry Pi compared to other microcontrollers. That's why we are using Raspberry Pi. So some of the special features of Raspberry Pi is it has a Cortex A53 SoC, system on chip memory. It's a 64-bit processor. So it's it's not a highly efficient like what we are using in computers processor like 64-bit Intel processor. So it is one of Intel processor, but processing speed compared to our computers and laptops, it's less processing. So for minimal purpose, we can able to use Raspberry Pi. So not for maximum purpose like installing applications like SQL or some other big application like Android Studio. So it can't able to act highly efficient like our laptops or desktop. So that's it. So it is having an ARM Cortex A53 microcontroller. So we can able to code it in embedded coding. So the processing speed is 1.4 GHz. Probably our systems has been 2.6 to 2.8 GHz. So comparing to other steps, the processing speed is less. So it has an 1 GB SD RAM. So minimally in our systems we have 4 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM slot. So it's 1 GB RAM. So storing all of the steps and processing speed is low. So then it has an Bluetooth and WLAN port. So we can able to communicate and transfer the sensor data steps through Bluetooth or LAN. So it is also an Ethernet or USB port. It has a 4 USB port. So we can able to plug in USB keyboard and what are the steps we need like speakers, all the stuff. We can able to connect it. It has also an inbuilt Wi-Fi module. So basically we going for microcontroller for the main purpose in our IoT domain. So mainly in IoT domain, we going for microcontroller just to integrate the sensors and fetch the sensor data and transfer the sensor data from controller to any other stuff like uh, uh, any wireless protocols like MQTT. Mainly we are using MQTT. It's a lightweight protocol. So we can push the data to MQTT protocol. So mainly the communication modules like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, any other communication modules is needed. In Raspberry Pi, it defaultly has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and also Ethernet port. But when we go for other stuff like Arduino on Raspberry Pi, we need to integrate separate modules. Each module we need to have integrate separate. Only the controller has to be separated. We need to include Wi-Fi, whether we need Wi-Fi or NFC or LoRa. So whatever communication modules we needed, we need to externally interface it with the controller. So in Raspberry Pi, all the stuff has been defaultly integrated. So it is easy to handle and push the data. So it has an 40-pin GPIO header. So GPIO is general purpose input output pin. So each pin access and both in and out, both analog and digital. So we can able to integrate both the type analog and digital sensors. We can able to fetch the input from the sensors and also to send the information to a sensor like a motor. So motor is an actuator, so it's an output, analog output. So we need to run for 10 seconds, run to 15 seconds. We need to push in some data to the controller. So controller speaks with the sensors like actuators like DC motor, so it can able to push. So GPU is general purpose input output, so it acts for both input and output module. All the sensors has been integrated, so analog and digital sensors. So it's also it has also a HDMI port, so high definition multimedia interface. So it's easy to connect with the either laptop or monitor or what are the things we needed to view the Raspberry Pi. So we can able to do that. So then it also a camera port. It has a Pi camera defaultly. It has a slot. So we can able to interface the camera and we can able to interface the camera and we can take the snaps or what are the things we needed. Whether for example, if we are doing an automatic ticket tolling system like we are um, doing in a toll plaza. So whenever the vehicle comes in front of the door, so some persons have seen the number plate and they type in the uh, number plate number in car. So then they generate a bill and all this stuff. So in IoT, we can able to use Raspberry Pi with the camera to automatically snap the number plate board, and we can able to process the image and print it in our bill automatically. So human mistake has been eradicated whenever we move into Wi-Fi. So sorry, IoT. So it's kind of easy stuff nowadays to do all the things using internet and also controller. So that's it. So and also power consumption is it's acts only in a 5 volt DC power supply. So USB power input is a 5 volt DC. So it is easy to power the Raspberry Pi using this port also, and we can able to integrate touchscreen display also in this screen. So we don't need a HDMI port and need compulsory. We don't need a monitor or laptop to view it. There's this touchscreen input. So we can plug it in a slot where camera is slotted. So can able to easily integrate it with the touchscreen with Raspberry Pi. And also it has a stereo output and input port. So can able to plug it in a 3.5 mm audio jack. And what are the things, music or video? So all the stuff has been seen using this. So it has also micro SD card slot for OS. So it's like a mini computer. So we need some of the OS to run this. So micro SD is used to boot the OS and all the stuff in Raspberry Pi. So these are some of the basic features of Raspberry Pi. So here we are using for integration and all the stuff we use in Raspberry Pi. So just we start going to start how to set up a Raspberry Pi, how to code it, how to integrate sensors, and how to view it. So these are the things on for the session. So let's start how to set up a Raspberry Pi. Whenever you get a new Raspberry Pi, how to progress it, how to check it. So let's see. So first of all, we need a memory card for booting up the OS. So what any type of OS can be used. Here we are using Raspbian OS. So instead of Raspbian OS, we can able to use Windows IoT Core and all the OS you can able to boot up in a Raspberry Pi. Here I am using Raspbian Pi OS for booting the Raspberry Pi. So how to boot the OS inside the Raspberry in the memory card. So let's see. So we're going to raspberrypi.org /downloads website. It's an official website for Raspberry Pi. So Raspberry Pi is a foundation in UK. So their main goal is to make kids and adults to easily utilize how computers has been used, how programming has been used, how um, 10-year-old kid can able to code all the stuff. So how it can able to handle computer and all the things from scratch itself. So it's also having scratch. So we can able to, if any person doesn't know how to code, they going for scratch. So scratch means you just know the things, how a loop is working, how the loop and how the conditions has been working. So they just drag and drop the things and plug the Raspberry Pi, and they feed the code by plugging it into it. So that's how they are working in Raspberry Pi. So once the OS has been downloaded, we need to insert an SD card using a card reader, and we need to format the SD card properly, because we didn't know what the format has been, whether it is in FAT32 or NTFS format. We didn't know. So we need to format the SD card once the SD card has been given. So the SD card has been formatted to FAT32 format, so not NTFS format. We need to use FAT32 format. So once the SD card, we have many other SD card formatters app like third-party app. So we can able to format any of the app, using any of the app. We can able to format it, and burning the OS into an SD card. It's a little bit easy process compared to burning OS in like Windows 8, 8.1, 10. in our system. So here I'm using balance HF software. Just a minute. So I'm showing what. So I'm opening the software. So Balena HF. So just a minute. So it's loading. So I'm using this software to burn the OS inside the SD card. So there are So this is how we are going to burn the OS inside the Raspberry Pi. We download the Raspberry Pi OS in their website. So we need to select the image. So it's like ISO file. So we are going to select which ISO file like this. So this is one of the ISO file. So we select the image and we select the drive. I didn't connect the SD card through any port. So whenever you connect the SD card, it shows the drive, SD card name stuff. We just select the drive and click the flash. So it can able to build the ISO file inside the memory card. We couldn't able to just copy the ISO and paste it in SD card. It doesn't work. So it's an easy process like copy and paste, but it doesn't work. It doesn't boot. So that's why we are using some other software for burning the OS. So here I am using Balena HF for burning the OS. So this is how the OS. So after installing it, you just uh, download the ISO file, OS file from the Raspberry Pi.org website. So you just click it and select the which SD card you need, and you just click the flash to flash the OS. So once the flash has been completed, you can safely remove it and close it. Close the thing. So this is how you boot the OS inside the SD card. So once the OS has been booted, so there are two ways to run the Raspberry Pi. So one is like directly we plug it HDMI port and one side to a Raspberry Pi and other side to a monitor. So based on the OS, after inserting a memory card, booting the OS inside memory card, you just plug it the memory card inside the Raspberry Pi. So here I'm having just a So here I'm having Raspberry Pi 3B plus. So I'm just plugging. I booted a SD card, 32 GB memory card. So I booted the OS inside Raspberry OS inside the SD card. I just plug it. So then I insert an HDMI port to view it in any other thing. So this is a 5-volt DC power port. So I just plug it in the CPU, in my laptop to power it. So there are two. So there are two ways to view the Raspberry Pi. So one is just plug it the HDMI directly into a monitor. So any monitor, HDMI port monitor. So whenever you plug it defaultly just boot it up. So you can externally connect keyboard and mouse with it. So it acts like a separate computer. Then you can able to select which Wi-Fi you need to connect. All the stuff has been done easily whenever you have a monitor instead of a PC. So another thing is using SSH. So SSH is one of using SSH client. So SSH client there are many SSH client we are having. So based on SSH client, we can able to use it use to view it in the laptop. So it is also an easy process. Like we can able to connect our PC. You just install the any other SSH client app. Here I use Mobile XTOM as an SSH client. So we can able to feed the data on what how the SSH has been connected, enabled, and we just initialize which IP we need to connect. So then it can be easily booted up and run it inside our laptop instead of monitor. But compared to SSH client, monitor has been easy. So this is how we connect directly to a monitor. You just plug it the HDMI port directly to a monitor. So it is one of the connection. So now I'm just connecting using SSH client. So it is a quite large step compared to directly connected to a monitor. So these are the steps. So I'm going to tell step by step how it has been connected. So first, after connecting SD card, we just actually before inserting SD card inside the Raspberry Pi, SSH has to be enabled, and which are the Wi-Fi we need to connect. What is the IP address? Raspberry Pi has to be boot. All the stuff has been given by user itself. So we need to give to we need to initialize to a Raspberry Pi before it has to be booted. So once the this step has been done, once the OS has been booted using a Balena HR or some other software. So after this, you just open the command prompt and just type echo K. K means it's what the extension, what the drive name, SD card name it's showing, /SSH. So it is it's whenever you just give it creates a file like SSH client like here. So it's showing it creates an function. So once you give this command echo hyphen K:/SSH. K means your name, whether it is a D, E, F, whatever name you have given to a SD card, the extension card, right? So you need to mention it and give a / and SSH. So we just created a SSH inside a boot file. It's an OS file. So look at on the right side image, it creates an SSH extension inside a file. So once the SSH created, so the next step is you need to create, you need to give the which IP address it need to connect, which Wi-Fi it need to connect. So we need to tell the Raspberry Pi. So what are the things we need to connect it to? So you just uh, go inside the boot file. So just right click and create an empty file, right? Create a new text document and rename the text document to wpa/supplicant.conf.txt. So it is a default name. Whenever the Raspberry Pi gets booted, it just search for this name to automatically connect it to the Wi-Fi. You just create a text document and just rename it to wpa-supplicant.conf.txt. You need to give this name. It is a mandatory name. Whenever we need to connect to a laptop, before booting it, we need to create this file, empty file, and just double click it file and open it in Notepad with the .txt extension. So this is the structure we need to give inside the wpa-supplicant.conf text file. So control interface is a directory which is used path to connect to internet. So update config 1 means how many network. This is the first file you need to connect it, and we need to mention the country name. So country code is must. So country equal to IN. India means IN. So whether which country you in. So you need to mention a country code here. So then we need to give the network status. So which SSID or which password we need to, which SSID has which password. So you need to mention whether it is having a password or whether it doesn't have a password. It's an open network. We don't need to mention it. So we can able to give n number of networks. So when which network available once it get booted, just restart it and get done it. So on right side, I'm giving it two network. So one is on home SID. So it has a password one and priority. So based on the priority, it gets connected. So whenever first one has priority one, it just get booted. Whenever the first network doesn't available, it gets booted for second network. So just keep in mind. So whether you can't able to connect a network, you can't able to open using SSH. So it is mandatory to connect with the network whenever you are using Raspberry Pi with the laptop or any other thing. So you just instead of monitor. So monitor means you doesn't need these kind of stuff. Just after booting the OS, you just plug it the OS inside the Raspberry Pi, and based on power, it gets booted up. So instead of monitor, we can able to um, uh, run the Raspberry Pi using laptop or all the things. We are going for these steps. So first, after OS gets booted, you need to create an SSH file here. So based on the echo command, so in our command prompt, so using SD card. So inside a boot, you don't need to right click and create SSH. You just give this command to create the file inside the boot boot main boot folder. So once the SSH has been created, so SSH has been enabled once it gets booted. So after it's creating SSH, you need to give the network which has to be booted. So network means you need to create a text document wpa-supplicant.conf. So it is a default name. So you need to give it a .txt means first of all you need to create a text file. So after mentioning what kind of network it needs to be connected, just save it and remove the .txt extension. So whenever it gets boots up, first it looks for this WPA supplicant.conf file. Configuration file defaultly gets open once it gets boots up, and it looks for the priority network. So which priority network has been available. Whether priority one available, it just connected to a network. Whenever uh, priority one gets disconnected or some other due to some other issues it can't able to boot up, we can go for network 2. So network 2 is based on a priority you can able to give it. So we can give a n number of networks based on the priority. It just take which network it has to be needed. So once the data has been given, you just remove the .txt extension. So we created two files inside the boot folder. So SSH, one of the file. So another file is WPA file. So supplicant.conf file. So after creating it, you just plug it the SD card with the Raspberry Pi and just power it up with a 5 volt DC supply. So the Raspberry Pi gets booted up. So you need to connect the HDMI port with our laptop. So So once the Raspberry Pi has been booted, it connected to the network based on the priority. Whether priority one available, it connected to priority one network, and priority two means whichever network available, you need to Raspberry Pi has to defaultly get connected to the network. So we also need to connect our laptop with the same network. So this is one of the mandatory stuff. So whenever we plug it Raspberry Pi with the monitor, we doesn't need this kind of stuff. So, but we are while we are using SSH client, we need all this stuff. So we need to create two files, SSH and network file, and also we need to connect our laptop with the same network in which Raspberry Pi can get booted. So it is easily to connect with SSH using our laptop. So we doesn't know which IP address our Raspberry Pi has taken. So we can't, without knowing the IP address, we can't able to connect an SSH client. So there is an application called Advanced IP Scanner, actually. So based on Advanced IP Scanner, we just scan it, which IP address the Raspberry Pi has been taken. So once we mentioned the IP address from 1 to 254, so all the things which connected to our network has been shown based on a name and IP address, like in my right side image. So once you give scan, so it gives the name, IP address, manufacturer, and all the stuff, MAC address, all the things. So here it's showing Raspberry Pi .mshome.net. So 192.168.134.4 it's showing. So this is how you find the IP address of the Raspberry Pi in which it connected to a network and whichever IP address it has been taken. So based on advanced IP scanner, we can able to find it which IP address it has been mentioned. So once we get the IP address, we can able to log into a Raspberry Pi. So based on the SSH client. So here I'm using SSH as mobile XTerm. So mobile XTerm is one of the enhanced terminal for Windows with Excel server. So it has a VNC and RDP telnet and R login. So it works on Unix. So it's also available for Unix, Mac, and also Windows application. So here I'm using mobile XTerm as my enhanced terminal. So after it's an exe, so we doesn't need to install it. You just directly run it mobile XTerm. So this is how the Windows looks. So just I'm showing. So once the Windows has been opened, you just click the session tab. So session. So once the session has been clicked, the window gets opened. So what kind of session you need, whether you need an SSH or you need a telnet or you need RDP, VNC, what are the things you need. You just mention which thing you needed. So here I'm needing a SSH client. So I'm just clicking the SSH and just giving the IP address. So what IP address I'm going to given. So here the IP address I has been get from the advanced IP scanner. So the thing has been mentioned here. And this once the IP address has been given, you just mention any port you needed and just give an OK. So the Raspberry Pi gets booted. Defaultly, all the Raspberry Pi has a login as Pi, and we need a password as Raspberry, all in small thing, small name, so small letters, Raspberry. So it is a default login ID and password for all the things. So based on the login and password, you need to connect with Raspberry Pi. So once the login has been done, so the window has been like right side. Once the IP address has been given, the user ID password you mentioned it, the Raspberry Pi has been logged in. So after that, we can mention start LXD command. So start LXD command is used to open for session. So just a minute. So after you giving a start LXD, the Pi has been booted up successfully, and the session has been started. So this is how you booted up a Raspberry Pi using a SH client. So these are the steps. So I can mention the steps another time, and I show how it has been done. So first of all, there is after booting an OS, there is two steps of connecting the thing. So one is directly to a monitor, so you can able to connect it to a monitor. So second one is based on the SSH client. So SSH client means you can able to connect with the laptops and all that things. So it is a default thing for that. So after booting the OS inside the SD card, create an SSH file inside the SD card. So it is the first step. So based on the command below, so echo-case./SSH, you can able to create a SSH file inside it. So after creating SSH, you need to mention which Wi-Fi it doesn't need to connect, which network it has been need to connect. So we need first step, second step, we need to create a wpa-supplicant.conf.txt file. So once the file has been created, so we need to mention what are the networks it has to be connected. So based on this structure, the structure below. So based on the structure below, we can able to connect it. So here, mention the number of network based on the priority, it gets defaultly connected. So 1, 2, 1, 3. So a number of network has been there. Country code has to be default. The WPA supplicant conf format should be from control to network. So should be in this structure. It takes as an object, network as an object. So we need to mention SSID password, priority, and SH name. So it has an ID, so we need to mention it. So after creating this both the stuff, you just unplug the SD card from SD card reader, and we plug it in Raspberry Pi. So once the Raspberry Pi, once the SD card has been plugged, you just give a 5-volt power supply to that, and you just boot it up inside the Raspberry Pi. So once the power is on, we need to find which IP has taken by this. So here, based on the advanced IP scanner, we need to mention which IP it has been taken. So once it has been taken, we find Raspberry Pi.mshome.net. So it is a default name given by Raspberry Pi for any OS for Raspberry. This name has been given. So Raspberry Pi Foundation is the manufacturer. So based on this IP address, we can able to log in with this. So any such software has been used for login purpose. So here I am using MobileXterm in an interest terminal for Windows. So MobileXterm is one of the such software. So there are a number of softwares available to connect with the Raspberry Pi. So MobileXterm is one of the thing. So it's an exe, so you just download it and just open it on MobileXterm. So there's also Putty. So Putty is one of the such client software. So we can able to use any of the softwares you needed. So once MobileXterm has been inserted, you just click session tab. So once the session tab is clicked, the session settings has been opened. So whether we need an SSH telnet or what other things tell FTP, FSS, FTP. So what are the things you need, you just click it. So here I need SSH. So once the SSH has been clicked, we need to mention the remote host name. In remote host, you can able to give this name Raspberry Pi.mshome.net, whether this name or IP address. So both the thing you can able to given. So here I am mentioning IP address 192.168.134.4. Which IP address the Raspberry Pi has been taken, you need to mention it. And port has been defaultly, whether we need any particular port or specific port, we need to mention the port name, and you just click OK. So once the SSH has been properly given, the SSH has been opened. So it prompt for the password. So login as Pi. So you can able to change the username once the Raspberry Pi gets booted using sudo config file. So it defaultly has Pi and password as Raspberry. So you can able to mention the Raspberry as a password. So once the details has been done, the Raspberry Pi has been successfully logged in. So after login page, it's showing in the right side. So it's mentioning we need to start the terminal. So we need to give a start LXDE for running the Raspberry Pi inside in the using SSH in our laptop. Okay. So the window gets open. It defaultly has documents, base basket, recycle bin, all these things stuff. So I'm showing how it is done. Just so this is my MobileXterm. So I'm creating a session. So session is 190.168.0.40. This is my IP address. So I'm connecting to another network. So login name is Pi. I am defaultly given the password as the lastly saved password has been taken. So but defaultly it has password as Raspberry. So you need to mention Raspberry as password. And once the password has been enabled, the SSH has been enabled based on the file you created while booting up. So once SSH has been enabled only, the file has been created, you can able to connect with SSH. Without creating SSH file and also Wi-Fi, you can't able to boot the Raspberry Pi and able to connect with the laptop. So for monitor, it doesn't need for SSH or all the steps like network, all the things. But for connecting with laptops, you need both the files. So both SSH and network file has been important. So here it is mentioning SSH is enabled and the default password for Pi is has not been changed. If you need to change the Raspberry Pi's password, so Raspberry is the password for defaultly for Raspberry Pi, for any Raspberry Pi you just purchased, or for any OS you booted up. Once it's booted up, it is the default password. So you can able to change it. So you need to mention start LXT for opening the terminal. So this is so just a minute. So this is my Raspberry Pi boot. After booting up, so this is how the Raspberry Pi front page looks. So it doesn't have any desktop background. So this is the background I need to given. So whether what are the things you need to change it, you just give it. So these are the icons defaultly the Raspberry Pi has given. So it has an Windows tab. So based on the Windows tab, you need to move for app series. So what are the app series? So what are the things you need to install it, or based on the add and remove software, you can able to um, give inside the Raspberry Pi. So what are the softwares you needed? What are the external things you needed? What are the things you need to remove? You just search it, and you whether what are the fonts you needed. So what are the communication protocol you needed. So it defaultly has all the things. So you can able to mention that things inside the programming and all the stuff. So multimedia you can able to given inside it. So this is one of the thing in Raspberry Pi. So here it has internet web browser. Mm, so whenever you connected the Raspberry Pi with the monitor, you can able to mention the Wi-Fi here. So whenever you connected the Raspberry Pi with the monitor, so we doesn't provide SSH or Wi-Fi or all the things defaultly. So once the Pi has been booted, you just click on what are the network you need to connect. You just mention it here. So based on the network, it has to be booted. So this is one of the LXC terminal. So other thing is, so we need to install some of the basic softwares once the terminal has been opened. So some of the package has been defaultly installed, like Quick and all this stuff. So we are coding this Raspberry Pi using Python. So pip is one of the package. So based on the package index, we need to install pip. So this is one of the command which is used to install Python. So it is a basic command to install any other thing. So you just need to open the LXC terminal. So it's available in system not to. So just open the LXT terminal. Just type sudo apt-get install python-pip. So once the command has been given and you just hit the enter, so it defaultly searches for the Python whether it is already installed or whether it is need to be upgraded. All the things it mentioned here. So whenever you need a Py or Py3, so whatever the package we used, you just install using pip. So sudo apt-get is a default command line for installing what are the packages you needed. So Python is available in pip package. So Python-pip is one of the default thing. So you need to mention it inside it for installing the pip. So I'm here already having Python pip is already a newest version I'm having. So whenever you doesn't have a Python, so based on this command, you need to able to put the Python inside the Raspberry Pi. So we can able to install it. Once the install has been done, it provided. So then after installing Python using pip, we need to install Python for development package. From development package, we need to install it inside the Raspberry Pi. So you need to use sudo apt-get for installing the thing. So Python-dev means for it's available inside the dev package. So here I am mentioning sudo apt-get. So install Python-dev. Just press it enter. So it just searches for the Python in the package. If it is already existing, it just show which version it's already in use and what are the things you need to install. Whether it is a manually installed, it automatically comes under OS. All the things has been mentioned here. So mentioned here. So these are the basic things, basic packages we need to install before proceeding for coding and all the things. So Python pip means it's one of the package from pip. So we need to install Python-pip sudo apt-get install. It's a default command line. And Python-pip means it's one of the pip package. So we need to mention it. So after installing pip package, we need to install dev package for same thing. So Python-dev means it's one of the package. So we need to install both the packages. So it is mandatory. So we all know it defaultly has a GPU header, a 40 GPU header. We already know. So for enabling GPU header, we need to install rpa.gpu. This package is mandatory for installing for enabling GPU open. So it is mandatory for enabling GPU open. So you need to mention the command sudo pip install. So sudo pip install. So R capital P I dot GPIO.
Sir, Kishore sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, some of the participants commented that your working screen is not visible.
So whether it is visible for you, sir?
But it is visible for me, but for the participant, it is not visible. We have already, we have also checked one of the machine in our lab. Your screen is not shared there.
No, sir. I'm shared to everyone. So,
Okay, we will check it out. Okay, sir.
so whether it is
Yes, sir, it is visible now. Oh,
oh, sorry, sir. Some network issue. So it is.
okay.
So thank you, sir.
Right,
Thank
sir.
you. So I'm sorry, I didn't know whether the screen is shared. So So I'm mentioning the steps once again. So after once the Raspberry Pi has been booted, so we need to install some of the basic packages. So like Python packages. So because we are going to code the Raspberry Pi based on Python language, so we need to install the Python. So Python language has been available in two packages like pip and dev. So we need to mandatorily install both the files. So first we need to open the LXT terminal, which is available in system tools. So we can use whatever terminal we need to use. So here I'm using LXT terminal. So LX terminal, you just click it. So LX terminal, just
working.
so I'm
Sir, just a
just
minute. Just a minute.
yeah, sir.
Share screen யாருது? No. இது தெரியுது பட் நான் இப்போ yes sir. Sir, now it's available, sir. You continue.
Sorry, sir. Whenever I use SSH, there is an issue. So I didn't check by sharing it as such. So just now it's visible, sir. Sir, is it visible? Hello.
Sir, it is visible now.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So we need to install pip package and dev package. So we need to enter the commands sudo apt-get. So it is a default command line for installing whatever packages you needed. So sudo apt-get, so default. So we need to install whichever packages you needed. So I need Python.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Yes.
Sir, that last line of this is that one, sir. While running that
Which one, sir?
command, that command prompt.
This Raspberry Pi command.
Yes, it's not. It shows only that home/pi/catchy.
So you have to move your screen up, sir.
No, sir. I didn't type any other thing in that window, sir. It is an SSH client only. You just need to mention it. Whenever I minimize it, the screen gets passed, sir. So whenever I get minimized it, screen gets passed. So I didn't type anything in that thing in mobile external.
Okay.
So it's like I'm just viewing it. So I'm just typing it in LX terminal only.
Okay.
So this is my type. So sudo -get install python-pip.
Sir, did you share anything now, sir? That is PPT or anything? Because it's showing on that terminal window only.
No, sir. I'm just typing in terminal window. Whether it is viewing, sir?
No, sir, no. Just stop the sharing and share it once again.
Okay, sir. Just one minute.
Yes. Now it's visible, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So whenever it gets passed, you just mention me, sir. So I didn't get any notification here whether the screen is passed or not. So we need to install packages, basic packages. So in mobile XTEM, I didn't type any things here. So once I give a command as start LXD, I didn't mention or type anything in mobile XTEM. So I'm going to install the packages inside the Raspberry Pi. So once start LXT is given, the Raspberry Pi window has been opened. So inside Raspberry Pi, you just go for programs and system tools, LX terminal. So once you click the LX terminal window has been opened like this. So we need to mention commands. So what are the packages you needed inside the LX terminal? So sudo apt-get install means it is a default command line for installing all the things. So here I am installing pip package Python package inside the pip. So Python -pip. Once the command has been typed, you just press the enter. So it's just check whether the Python in pip package is already present. It has newest version. Whether we need to upgrade it. So all the things it mentioned here. So whenever you need to upgrade it, you just upgrade it based on type. So here I'm having latest version. So it also mentioned whether it is manually installed or it gets defaultly from the OS itself. So it gets mentioned. So once the pip package gets installed, you get successful message. So it takes time, like 5 to 10 minutes hardly. So here I'm already having the package, so it doesn't take much time. So after get installed in Python -pip, you need to install dev packages. So another command is sudo apt-get install Python-dev. So it is one of the developed packages where Python is available. So you need to. So please share the. So these are the two packages we need to install. So after installing both the packages, there is we are having a GPIO header. So GPIO header is used to interface sensors and all the things using GPIO headers. So we need to enable the GPIO headers. So it is one of the thing. So just so this is one of the command. So you just copy it sudo pip install rp.gpio. So control D doesn't work inside the command terminal. So you just right click and click paste so that it works. So whenever you need to stop it, you just give control C to stop the terminal. So just retype it sudo pip install rpi.gpio. So this package is used to enable the GPIO header. So it is one of the mandatory package we need to install whenever we need to interface sensors with Raspberry Pi. So once you click the enter, so it hardly takes time. So just wait for some. So whenever the rpa.gpo, whenever you firstly given this command, it takes 10 minutes to run this package. It just check what are the pins you need to connect. What are the packages each pin has to be in? What are the default library functions it needs? So all the things has been inside the GPIO header library. So here I'm already having the package. So it's showing it's already satisfied. So whenever it needs to be installed. So these are the basic packages we need to mention. So I'm just showing the slide. So what are the commands we mentioned here? So we need to install Python pip package and dev package and GPIO. So basic installation. So we need to install it not in a mobile external. So once you get start LXDE, um, the Raspberry Pi window has been shown like this. So in this window, you just go for a system tools, LX terminal. So once the LX terminal has been opened, So once select terminals have opened, so you need to give the command sudo apt-get install python-pip. So it is one of the Python packages. Then we need to install dev packages, sudo apt-get install python-dev. So it is one of the package. So for enabling GPIO, you need to mention sudo pip space install space rpi.gpio. So all the things are case sensitive. So you need to mention as it is from here. So everything is in small case only. Let us on small case. So sudo pip install. So here RP is caps, GPIO is in caps. So you need to give the command properly as it is in here. So because Raspberry Pi is a case sensitive, so you need to mention it as it is. So these are the basic three packages we need to install it. So just make this as an usual whenever you run the Raspberry Pi as a new Raspberry Pi. So whether the packages has been defaultly installed from OS, you just prompt the message as it is defaultly installed and it has a version number. So whenever it doesn't has version or installed, it defaultly gets installed. So you just check properly whether the pip dev and GPIO has been installed. So GPIO open. So it has an 40 header GPIO open. So it is a powerful GPIO open. So I already mentioned it is a general purpose input output pin. So it is an 40 pin IC. So from the microcontroller, they just plug it and give it in outside. So we can able to plug the sensors directly to our microcontroller based on this GPIO header. So we need to install the package to enable GPIO headers. So this is one of the 40 pin GPIO headers. So GPIO means general purpose input output. So we can able to give both input and output via this pin. So the numbering is one of the um, hard thing to remember. So 1, 2, 3, 4, it's in a sequence manner, but based on this GPIO name, we can able to connect the sensors. So all the things we doesn't mention 8, 10, 12. So it is a pin number. So we doesn't mention while coding this number. So we are going to mention this GPIO 14, GPIO 15. The GPIO number we are going to mention while coding. So whenever we connecting a sensor, so it is map. It's please to check whether the GPIO pins are properly connected or not. So because whenever we connected to GPIO 25, so we just mentioned 25 like we connected with the here 25 is a ground, for example. So here 25 is a ground. So we mentioned GPIO 25 and connected here. So we know GPIO 25 is one of the pin, but instead of we are going for GPIO 25, which is in 22 pin. So we connected unfortunately in 25. So it doesn't work because it is a ground pin. So whenever we coding, we need to mention and properly and check whether the GPIO is properly connected or not. So it has a 40 pin. So it has two 3.3 volt pin. So 1 and 17 is one of the 3.3 volt pin. So and also 2 and 4, it is a 5 volt pin. And also it has 6 grounds, like 6 to 7 grounds. So ground is mentioned. So it has only two 3.3 and two 5 volt pin. So whenever you integrating 10 to 15 sensor, we need to take the 5 volt and plug it in a breadboard, and we need to mention as a common thing, common 5 volt. So ground has to be common. 5 volt has to be mentioned from any other thing, from board or from some other things, from another controller. We are powering the sensors using 5 volt, but ground has to be mandatory. Ground has to be common. So the sensors has to be worked properly whenever the ground has to be common. So it has two 3.3 volt and 7 grounds, two 5 volt, and also SDA pin. So data pin and clock pin. So for SPA communication. So and also UART pin. So here UART transmitter and receiver. So we can able to use what are the communication modules, whether we need a SPI or we need a I2C or we need a UART communication. So what are the things we needed? We can able to act this GPI as it is. So whether we need SPI, we just connected with the default SPI pins available in GPIO headers. So whenever we need a UART, so because Arduino is one of the UART communication board, so we need RxTX to transmit the data. So we go for a UART pins. It defaultly has a transmitter in this UART pin, so we defaultly connected with it. So whether we need an I2C communication, we go for a data and clock. So here available in GPIO 2 and 3. So this is how it works. So generally, these pins act as a SDA, ordinary GPIO pins. So whenever we go for I2C communication, so SDA and SCL act for I2C defaultly. So whenever we go for SPI, pin number 19, 20, and 21 and 23 is used for SPI communication. So whenever we go for UART, we go for 8, 10. But generally, all the pins work as a GPIO pin, so we can able to give input. But defaultly, all the pins has been worked on 3.3 volt only. So all the pins out will be 3.3 volt. So these are the 3.3 volt out pin. So other than 2 and 4th pin, all the pins has been 3.3 out pin. So all the pins accept 3.3 volt only inside the GPIO header. So we need a voltage divided bias for connecting with it. So we can see once we integrating ultrasonic sensor with this Raspberry Pi. So I mentioned how to connect with the ultrasonic with the Raspberry Pi. I will show it in the next session. So this is how GPIO header works. So these are the basic setting up process for Raspberry Pi. So whether you have any doubts, you just mention it in a chat. So what are the things you need to know? So because next session we are going to see how to communicate with sensors and how ultrasonic sensor is communicating with it. What are the sensors has been available? So how you can able to connect with it? So we can see it next session. So in session 1, what are the things you need to know? What are the doubts? You just please mention. So finally, I can give a overview about how the session 1 was. So we go for Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi is nothing but just a low cost and credit card size computer. So you can plug it and play like CPU. So for CPU, we need monitor for viewing and printer, keyboard, mouse, external devices, peripheral devices for communication. So likewise, Raspberry Pi is one of our CPU, central processing unit. So it acts as a mini computer. So we can able to do all the stuffs we are doing in computers, like making spreadsheets, word processing, coding, audio, video, storing data, PPTs. So watching movies, all the things has been done by this Raspberry Pi. But compared to laptop, its efficiency is low, processing speed is low because it has some of the features like it has 1.4 GHz processor speed only. So based compared to our Intel processor, it is a little bit slow. So here we are using ARM processor for communicating. So RAM also it has only 1 GB RAM. So processing speed, all the things are no. Compared to other microcontrollers, we go to Raspberry Pi because it has inbuilt Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And we can able to connect camera, so audio, video, all the things has been connected. So whenever we going for other microcontrollers, we need to connect externally Wi-Fi. So whenever we use Atmega controller for Wi-Fi, we use ESP8266 for communicating through Wi-Fi. So connecting to a protocols, MQTT protocols, all the things. We going for a separate Wi-Fi module, and also for Bluetooth communication for LoRa and NFC, all the things. we need to connect separately. But in Raspberry Pi, it defaultly has a WLAN port, Bluetooth port, and also Wi-Fi, Ethernet port. So we can able to fetch the data, sensor data from Raspberry Pi, and we can able to transmit to any other machine, other controllers or machine to the thing. So it has an extended 40 pin GPIO header. It's a general purpose input output header. So you can able to interface both analog and digital sensors in GPIO header. So it is used to connect all the sensors with it. So we need to enable it. So it has an HDMI port, so we can able to connect with the monitor or laptops to view or to enable it. So it has a USB port, so we can able to connect keyboard, mouse. So what are the external peripheral devices we need to connect, we can use it. So it default has a Pi camera port. So whether we need to do a project based on the camera stuff, so we can go in for Pi camera. So and also it has a touchscreen display port. So you just plug it the display port and we can able to use it. So instead of HDMI port, we can able to use touchscreen display. It has a 4-pole stereo output and video module, so we can able to plug it and use it. So I am using Raspberry Pi 3B plus. It cost around 3,600 whole the thing. So for Raspberry kit and then so this one. So Raspberry Pi, so HDMI cable, power cable, and also a box. So and memory card. So all the steps include 3,600 cost. So I'm using 3B plus. So now the latest Raspberry Pi is 4B plus. So it's launching. So it cost so much 5K around. I think so. So it has a 1 GB RAM variant and 2 GB RAM variant. So what are the things you needed? You just use it. So setting up Raspberry Pi. So setting up Raspberry Pi is booting up OS. So once the Raspberry Pi OS has been downloaded from raspberrypi.org/download. So we need to install the OS on SD card. So you have to plug in the SD card with SD card reader, and you need to format the SD card properly using any SD card formatter app or other things. And also after formatting the SD card, we need to burn the ISO file, so which has been downloaded from raspberrypi.org file. So I use Balena HR for burning the OS. So you can able to use you use any of the third-party software you needed for burning the OS. So you can't able to just copy and paste the OS inside the Raspberry Pi because it doesn't boot up properly. So you need to burn the OS properly. So because it only available as an ISO file, image file, so you just burn the OS inside the SD card using Balena HR. So there are two ways to run the Raspberry Pi. So first of all, first thing is you directly plug the HDMI port to the Raspberry Pi and connect with the monitor, so it can able to communicate properly. So for keyboard and mouse, you just plug it externally. So we doesn't need any Wi-Fi signal IP. We doesn't need for SSH when we are going for connecting the HDMI directly to a monitor. So we doesn't need any SSH file, all the stuff you need. Just boot the OS and just unplug the SD card from the SD card formatter and just plug it in Raspberry Pi and just provide a 5-volt power supply and plug the HDMI cable to the monitor. So we can able to Raspberry Pi gets defaultly booted and we can able to view it inside the monitor. So once the boot up, you just click and connect with the Wi-Fi, whichever Wi-Fi you needed. So you doesn't need to know which IP address it taken while we are connecting to a monitor. So another thing is while we are connecting using SSH client, so we need to enable the SSH, and also we need to mention which Wi-Fi it needs to connect based on the priority. For that, once after burning the OS inside the SD card, we just need to open our command prompt and we need to mention the following command: echo hyphen k means here our my boot. Just see the right side image. So boot k. So k is the extension disk number, alphabet. So you just mention whichever thing they mentioned in your SD card. /SSH means it creates an empty file without an extension, just to enable it. So it doesn't have the txt all the stuff extension. When you can't able to open or delete, or it doesn't need to right click and create the text file. You just give the command for creating the SSH. So it is one of the way to give the SSH. So it is the first step. So second thing is you need to connect with the Wi-Fi, whichever Wi-Fi you needed. So wpa-supplicant.conf.txt file is one of the text file. So you need to open the text document. So open a text document.txt file. You just mention the below structure for control interface, update config, country code, and also what are the networks you need to connect. So how many networks you can able to give n networks based on a priority. The Raspberry Pi while booting up just started. So once the data has been typed as of below, just remove the .txt extension and just save it. So it gets defaultly saved as wpa-supplicant.conf file. So after doing this two process, you just unplug the SD card and plug it in a Raspberry Pi and just provide a 5-volt DC supply. So just plug the HDMI with our laptop or desktop or whatever thing you need. After connecting it, you need to connect our laptop also. So whichever Wi-Fi network Raspberry Pi has to be connected. So that's why that's how we able to find the which IP address the Raspberry Pi has been taken. So using advanced IP scanner, you can able to search the IP range from 1 to 254. So which IP the Raspberry Pi has been taken. So you can able to look for the Raspberry Pi at mshome.net. It is a default name whenever the Raspberry Pi gets booted up. And also mention the IP address and the manufacturer name, Raspberry Pi Foundation. So you can able to take whether you need a name or IP address. So whichever thing you needed, you just copy it. And after that, you just need to install any of the SSH software you needed. So there are a number of SSH softwares like Putty, MobileXterm, all the things. So whichever thing is convenient for you, just use it. So here I am using MobileXterm as a SSH client. So after downloading is an exe, just run it to whatever. It's available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. Just download it and open it. So this is how MobileXterm exe has been given. So once the window has been opened, you just click the session. So once the session has been clicked, the Windows session settings has been opened. So inside session settings, you click SSH. So once SSH has been clicked, the SSH setting has been opened. So you need to mention the remote host name. So in remote host, you can able to mention it's a string. Okay, so you need to mention whether it is an IP address or
Keshava Kumar, 1 second, please.
yes.
See, there is a 5 minutes. There will be a break between 11 to 11:30.
Okay, sir.
So accordingly, for 5 minutes more, 5 to 10 minutes you can take up. After that, there will be a break. After that, participants can join us by 11:25. You can start by 11:30.
Sure, sir. 5 minutes I can wind the session.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need not get out of that. You can remain as it is as a co-host, so that things will be going on as it is. We will be
Okay,
keeping
sir.
on.
Okay,
Some
sir.
people
Sure.
will be there on the line. You can,
Okay.
if any queries comes, you can take it.
Okay, sir. Sure. So after typing the IP address or host name, just click the OK. So then the MobileXterm window has been opened with the IP address. So it defaultly gives us login as IP. So password is Raspberry, all are in small letters, Raspberry. So here Raspberry gets started. So Raspberry is a password for defaultly. After once the password has been given and the login address has been matched, we can able to move inside the file. So in the left side, it's showing the file. What are the files you has been defaultly has in OS. So it is mentioned in the left side, activity side. So you need to give the start LXT for opening the Raspberry Pi. So once the start LXT has been given, so it's finally booted up. successfully. So this is how booted up. It doesn't have any desktop images. So this is my image. So I placed it. So it shows a default image, what are the things your OS has been given. So once the window has been opened, you just click the program stamp and go move for LX terminal. So in LX terminal, it's a command prompt for a Raspberry Pi. So you need to done the basic installation. So there are two basic installation. We need to go for three. So Python is the basic coding language we use. So we need to install two packages, pip package and dev package for Python. So sudo apt-get install means we need to install pip packages for Python. So install python-pip and click the enter. So it gets installed. So whether without giving start LXD, you can able to type directly in the mobile term, but it is well good to go for a start LXD and just click the LX terminal from here and give the proper commands for it. So after enabling three things, you can able to connect the sensors, all the things you need to done in Raspberry Pi. So this is my first session. So any queries you can just chat. You just send me the things you need to know. So we can see this session 2 at 11:25.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, one of the participant, Smita Power, asked, we want all those steps involved
Okay, sir.
in your presentation, sir, the coding part.
Okay, sir. So, sir, after the session that gets over at evening, I can share the
Code.
document with you, sir. So you can able to share with them, so they can mention.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
So I will share it once all the session has been over. So I can mail you.
okay, sir. Is there any questions from participants? Right. So it is time for us to end the technical session 1. Mr. Kishore Kumar discussed about features of Raspberry Pi, setting up your SD cards, creating SSH and auto connect to existing Wi-Fi, configuration setup in Mobile Extreme, then basic installation. So with this, we would like to end up the technical session 1. We will resume and join to the technical session 2 sharply by 11:25 a.m. So you are expected to join for technical session 2 at 11:25 a.m. Thank you.